Well, welcome back to second half action from PHN High School with our score. The Big Reds 29, the Huskies 27. Let's set the lineups for you for the third quarter with the ball. Terry Miller, Tony Miller, Keith Gates, Brian Coleman, and Paul Harrington for the Huskies. Chris Hall, Bobby Wright, Rob Dawson, Andre Powell, and Troy Snyder. Miller's first shot a little bit too hard. Harrington on the rebound. Three-point opportunity for Tony Miller. Extends the Big Red lead to 5.
Nice shot, nice release to start second half. Extends the lead to 5, as you said.
And we've got a blocking foul on Paul Harrington, and the bad thing for Coach Jim Miller there, David, is that's his third.
Yeah, and he's having trouble going to the bench tonight. I think you're going to have to see him go to Van Williams, and that's what's happening right now. When Van was in, the Huskies were able to pound the ball down inside.
Well, Van does indeed check in, and Paul, with only 30 seconds gone by in the third quarter, picks up his third foul, and he'll have to take a seat. Powell, nice pass inside to Hall. Got partially blocked by Miller, but it goes, and Terry Miller picks up the foul, and Chris Hall will try to cap off a three-point play. Chris's first basket of the evening.
That's Terry Miller's first foul. Neither team is in any serious foul trouble other than Paul Harrington picking up his third to start early on here in the third quarter.
Chris does indeed hit the three-point play, 32-30 PHN High. Nice pass underneath. Coleman can't get it to go. Williams crashes the board, but rebound to Bobby Wright. Snyder, nice dish pass underneath. Left-handed shot up and good by Rob Dawson. We're knotted at 32.
All the Big Reds looked for the rebound there early, and Troy Snyder did a good job to pump it into Rob Dawson for the easy two.
Three-point shot's blocked, and a foul on Andre Powell, and he might be shooting three there, David.
I don't know if he raised 2 or 3 fingers in there. We'll have to see.
He will shoot 3.
It's an interesting rule change. I heard an interesting story, Randy, on the Iowa team. They're down by, get this, 7 points with 1/10 of a second left to play. Kid put up a 3-point shot and was fouled. The player that fouled him got a technical. He made all 5 foul shots. They got it out at half court, and they threw in a miracle shot to win the ball game.
Well, again, that new rule, but Tony Miller cannot capitalize. As he missed the first 2, he'll get the third. And again, missed opportunities for the Big Reds early on here in the third quarter. Terry, 33%, 1 of 3.
Terry's normally a 60% foul shooter.
Troy Snyder shots up and short, rebound to Bobby Wright of Northern. Bobby shot short, strapped underneath. Dawson, Johnny on the spot as Northern takes a 1-point lead.
Snyder and Wright kept that play alive. Rob Dawson, good job being there to put the easy hoop back up and in.
Miller just passed underneath. Coleman didn't see it, but it kind of rolled off the back of the Northern player. Coleman then finally saw it, laid it up and in.
I was wondering myself, I hadn't seen Brian Coleman set any of those vicious picks like we saw him set in the first contest, and there was one to start. Bobby Wright for a 3 from the corner.
Well, the big man Bobby Wright can hit it from all over the court. Spin move by Miller, can't get it to go. Fight for the rebound off number 50, Van Williams.
Bobby Wright doing a good job, taking up a lot of space in their box out, causing Van Williams to reach through him and knock the ball out of bounds. The Big Reds are back in that 3-2 zone. Watch for the Huskies go down inside to Rob Dawson. That's what they did early.
And you're right, as Hall tried to force it in there, but Van Williams, lanky forward, knocked it out of bounds.
Yeah, Van, I think, is going to be an outstanding player. I believe he's only a sophomore, Randy. He's got a lot of good ball games ahead of him for the Big Reds.
Right. Free throw line extended, can't get it to go. Coleman rips it down for PH. Coleman over Bobby Wright. Shots up and good. Gets the basket. The roll off the basket is Coleman.
Brian Coleman now has 15 points. He had 11 at halftime. He's definitely been the go-to man for the Big Reds here tonight.
Well, Brian Coleman and Terry Miller being recruited by the skipper coach, Dale Voss, and I'm sure some other colleges around Michigan.
I know Dale Voss would like to keep both of them right here. I don't know if they've indicated anything to coach yet or not. Shots like that, I know he's going to want him to stay in the neighborhood.
And again, Coleman only 6'2", giving up 4 inches to Dawson, but he's got that wide body and he uses that to his advantage.
He does. He keeps the defenders at bay so they can't get in to block any shots on him.
Rebound, Keith Gates.
Keith Gates does a nice job as a guard. He goes down there and he rips on a lot of rebounds.
I'll tell you, between Gates and Snyder, you couldn't ask for a better point guard. They're so quick.
Both of them do a good job. It looks like the Big Reds are trying to involve Gates doing more of that driving right there because they've taken him out of the point guard role here in the second half.
Quickly up court, shots up and good by Chris Hall. Nice transition by Northern. Knotted at 39 with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Transition again by Northern. Watch for Bobby to shoot it from the outside.
He does. He can't get it to go. Gates fouled him and Bobby will shoot 2. Again, the pace fast and furious as it was in the first half. Number 44, Brian Beckham, and number 22, Tony Powell, check in for Northern as Paul Harrington checks in for Van Williams.
Keith Gates has his second foul. Early on in the first ball game between these two, he picked up 3 fouls, had to sit much of the game. Then in the second half, he came out, got his 4th foul right away, and he may have been the hero in that ball game. Remember, he created a lot of opportunities at the end of the ball game. He didn't pick up his 5th foul. Jim Early's team did go on to win, so we're going to have to watch and make sure that he doesn't get in any foul trouble early on. Sometimes he plays a little bit out of control just because of his quickness.
Well, Bobby hits the first, Northern up by 1. And he gets a nice kiss off the glass in the rim. 41-39 Northern.
Bobby Wright has 12 points on the evening. He's the Northern leading scorer.
I really hope, David, that these two teams do not draw each other in the opening game of the districts. I think that would be a shame. If they're going to play each other, I hope it's in the finals.
And that would be a nice place to see each other. I believe one other team's coming in with a good record, Lance Cruz, I believe it is. However, they're playing a little bit easier division, so I have to believe these are the best 2 teams that we're going to see in the district here next week.
And Keith Gates, I don't know if you call that palming the ball or
carrying the ball. Yes, he also took a elbow to the nose as he went through there. He's a little shaken up coming back down court. He looks like he's going to be all right, though.
One thing if I was Coach Hand, Snyder's a true point guard, but I'd like to see him put the ball up at least 8 to 10 times a game. He's got a nice shot as Coleman blocks that one.
Yeah, he does. He is averaging 10 points a game for the Huskies here. You're right, he doesn't shoot a whole lot. He's only shot 83 field goals on the year.
Coleman, nice spin move up and no good. Rebound number 40, Bobby Wright.
There he is again. Randy penetrates all the way to the hole.
Wright can't get it to go. Powell can't get it to go. Beckham can't get it to go. They're all over the floor. Out of bounds to Northern.
What action. Yeah, 2 Northern's Huskies on the floor. 1 Big Red happened to go off of number 40 there, Paul Harrington. Northern will take over under their own basket.
Well, Northern had 3 tip-in opportunities. Just couldn't get it to go, and High really dodged the bullet there.
See now, you'll see they've gone back to more of a 2-1-2 or a 3-2 look here at times. However, with Dawson out, Northern has to settle for the jump shot.
And Powell's 3-point opportunity misses off the mark to the Big Reds.
Troy Schneider really overplaying Keith Gates, trying to make him go to his right hand. I believe Keith is a left-handed dribbler. You'll see he's really giving him the lane to the right. We'll see if he takes advantage of it.
Well, the other thing would help Keith if he could get a pick as Bobby Wright comes up with a big steal, takes it coast to coast, just cannot get it to go.
Keith Gates on defense.
Court. Nice, nice catch there. Gates a little bit late on getting that pass. You know, the little showboating there, they didn't need that, and it turned into a turnover.
It was a nice 2-on-1 break. The easy pass, I'm sure Jim Early would rather seen that for the sure 2 points.
Well, I was going to say it was a fine catch by Miller even to retrieve the ball, but he stepped on the line.
It was, and the other thing he did, he didn't try to shoot the ball right away. Bobby Wright for 3.
Bobby's second three-pointer of the night. Northern by 5 with 1:18 to go in the third quarter.
Both of them will come here in the third quarter, put Northern back in the lead.
Miller way short, rebound Powell. And Miller on a frustration foul there, way out at center court. Coach Jim Early wants a timeout with 1:08 to go, with Northern leading 44-39.
And another good timeout by Jim Early. They're playing a little bit out of control. You made a good point. That was a frustration foul. Just trying to stop a break there. They haven't had anything going right for them. Coach Early calls the timeout, settles them down, and watch for the Big Reds here to try to get in a little bit more consistent offense.
Well, Northern down by 2 at the half is stormed back to a 5-point lead. 1:08 to go, and then a final 8 minutes.
Northern already has 17 points here, Randy, in this third quarter. Bobby Wright having 8 of those points. Chris Hall, kind of an unsung person out there sometimes. He's come through with 5 big points here to lead the Huskies back into the lead.
Again, district action starts Monday night at Poirier High School. Again, the drawing for the district will take place tomorrow evening. Poirier High and Poirier Northern definitely sometime. Hopefully we'll play each other a third and final time. And you know, it's kind of anticlimactic. I know both teams would want this game so bad, but I guess if you had to ask them, do you want this one or the districts? Because once you lose, it's over, 1-game knockout.
Yeah, that's a bad thing. This game actually, I would have to believe, means more to the Huskies because they still have a chance to win the MAC Red Division title. However, being the inter-city rival that these two teams are, both want to win, but you're right, Randy. After next week, you lose, you're done. You go home, you pack it up for the rest of the year.
Eric Ratchey checks in, number 34 for Coach Jim Early, as Beckham almost makes a nice steal. And again, I think Poirier High's got to get back to trying to get it into Coleman down low. Miller can't get it to go. Andre Paul on the rebound, quick up court to Bobby Wright, 1-on-2. Nice block by Coleman, but Harrington, I believe, is going to pick up his 4th. Nothing Paul Harrington could do. Indeed, it is at number 40. Tony Powell will go to the line and shoot 2. Harrington with his 4th, team 5th.
Tony Powell hasn't really been too much of a factor tonight. Last game, Randy, he had 16 points. Tonight he's only got 2, and he'll be stepping up the line looking for number 3s and 3 and 4.
Well, Jim Early's lineup again depleted by forwards, so really the only thing they can do is kind of interchange Harrington and Van Williams, although number 52, Corey Bonner's going to have to step up big, the 6'1", 175-pound junior. Going to have to come in and play some valuable minutes here for Coach Jim Early.
Yeah, that was a critical foul there on Paul Harrington. Definitely look for the Huskies to pound it inside now.
Northern by 6 with 25 ticks of the clock left in the third quarter. 3-point shot by Miller, can't get it to go. Powell all alone underneath the boards.
Good job by Tony Powell.
Well, the only negative thing when Miller trying the 3-point opportunity, really the only rebounder left underneath the basket is Brian Coleman. And again, Powell all by himself underneath the defensive boards there.
I think both teams would like to slow it down here a little bit, try to work it inside, get some of the easy buckets.
5 seconds to go, 3-pointer by Beckham. Well short, but there's Paul, Johnny on the spot. Bonner didn't block him out. And a big basket just before the buzzer. A score after 24 minutes of action. Northern 47, the Big Reds 39.
Tony Powell did a nice job. He probably would have had that block block by Brian Coleman, but he put it back up with his left hand to get the easy basket. What a great way for the Huskies to end that third quarter.
Well, the Huskies outscored the Big Reds by 10 to open up an 8-point lead with 8 minutes to go.
They scored 20 points there, Randy, in that quarter, and you're to 10 for the Big Reds. So exactly, you're right, 20 to 10. Open up their lead. It's going to be very difficult, I think, for the Big Reds to get back into this now, especially being a little bit smaller with Harrington having to sit probably till about the 4-minute mark.
Well, again, the first game, everybody was in foul trouble. This game, really, the only player on both teams is Paul Harrington with 4 fouls.
Something else that may come into play here, Randy. We have 5 team fouls for the Port Huron High, only 1 for the visiting Port Huron Northern Huskies. So if it comes down to shooting 1-and-1 with 2 more fouls here, Northern will be at the line.
Well, that's a kind of a double-edged sword for Northern. As long as Northern has that lead, that plays to their ability. However, if they ever get down, they're going to have to foul quickly and often to stop the clock and get Port Huron High to the line. But as long as they hold the lead, it's definitely to their advantage. 8 minutes to go, Northern by 8. For Northern, Snyder with the ball, Bobby Wright, Andre Powell, Tony Powell, and Brian Beckham with the ball right now. As we've got a stoppage of play for the Big Reds, Van Williams, Terry Miller, Tony Miller, Keith Gates, and in the middle, Brian Coleman.
Northern tried that same play, Randy, to start the fourth quarter in the first game. They just weren't able to execute the back door and the lay-in real easy, but Troy Schneider did a good job pulling back out and then trying to force a shot.
Well, the next foul by Port Huron High will send Northern in a 1-on-1 situation for the rest of the ball game.
The Big Reds have also gone to man-to-man. I don't think they enjoy playing full-court pressure man-to-man here, so we'll have to see what happens.
Bobby Wright tries to go by Coleman. Coleman just stood his ground and won't let him come through. Nice play by Brian.
Now watch Brian Coleman. He wants the basketball. Great play in there by Tony Powell.
Well, they're double teaming Coleman down low there.
Right idea there. He just wasn't able to get the pass to Troy Schneider for the lay-in. You're right. They're playing Brian front and backside there. Looked like he was open, but Tony Powell came on the baseline and knocked the ball away.
It seems like every time these two schools get together, I mean, you've had the Bloomquist brothers, the Jameson brothers, the Zuloff brothers. Now you've got the Powell brothers and the Miller brothers. I wonder who's next here. Shot up and good by Keith Gates.
Keith's first basket of the second half. Randy, he's been sort of quiet. He had 6 quick points there in the second quarter.
Andre Powell called on the double dribble. Turnover to the Big Reds. As Chris Hall checks in for Coach Dan Hanton. Well, Dan Hanton, you interviewed him in a pregame. 19 years as the Northern varsity head coach. Just a tremendous year at 16-2.
Yeah, I've talked to Dan throughout the year. All these wins are kind of like gravy because nobody gave these Huskies a chance compared to the talent they had last year. This year they just come out and really surprised everyone. 16-2, what a tremendous record.
Miller shot short. Van Williams up high for the rebound, but going to be called on the foul over the back of the Northern player. And again, that will put Northern for the remaining 6:40 in the ball game to the line in a 1-on-1 situation. And I tell you, with only 1 team foul on Northern, Northern can really extend this lead at the charity stripe.
Yes, they can. Randy, amazing. We played 3 full quarters and another minute and 20 here, and this is the first 1-on-1 opportunity we've seen tonight.
Oh, net for Bobby Wright.
$16 points for Bobby Wright. 17.
And again, only a junior. He'll be back for another year.
He's a 58% foul shooter, so he's actually doing a little bit better than that tonight. He's only missed 1 at the line.
Shot from 10 is up and good by Terry Miller. 49-43 Huskies.
Good extension. He shot that ball at the height of his jump. Nobody was going to go up and block that thing.
Snyder gets Coleman up but throws it up short. Tony Miller gets good inside position, and Tony Powell going to be called on the foul.
Second foul on Tony Powell in the night. Only the second team foul here against the Huskies.
The 6'6" senior Rob Dawson checks back in for Dan Hanton.
Surprised to see Rob sit as long as he did. He came out and he's been playing a real good ball game. My count has 2 fouls on him. I don't know what happened there, but Coach Hanton made a change, and now he's come back to him for the final 5 minutes and 57 seconds.
Norland still in full court man-to-man pressure.
Troy Schneider forcing the dribble to be picked up very high out.
Gates got baseline position there. He'll go on the line to shoot too. Just so quick as the junior, number 12, Keith Gates.
Sure is. Just when you think you have him stop, he just drives around the basket, finds an easy jump shot. It'll be fun to watch Schneider and Cates play against each other for at least 1 more year.
Well, we've got a lot of underclassmen that play a lot of minutes for both of these teams. They're going to be around for 1, possibly 2 more years. 2 big free throws by Keith, Northern by 4. And Tony Miller called on the foul.
He also took an elbow to the nose there. I think that's the second one he's gotten tonight, both on foul calls against him.
And high over the limit, so Andre Powell will be in the 1-on-1 situation.
Andre Powell's a 62% free throw shooter, 42 of 68 on the year.
And big free throw there as Tony gets the kiss. And I tell you, both teams jockeying for position, boxing out on what they thought would be a missed free throw.
Yeah, it's getting physical down in there, Randy.
Andre hits them both. Nice steal by the sophomore point guard, Troy Snyder. Foul on the senior Miller. Troy will shoot 1-on-1. Troy just so quick.
Yeah, he is, and that's not the guy that the Big Reds want to see on the line. He's a 74% free throw shooter on the year, so it's very good for a high school player. Whenever they can shoot above 70%, they're doing a fine job.
Troy Snyder also gets the kiss of the glass.
It looks like the Huskies are playing at home. They've gotten 3 to hit the front of the rim and go in here in the last 20 seconds.
And Paul Harrington ready to check back in for the Big Reds as Troy hits them both. Extends the lead to 8. Every possession big now offensively for the Big Reds as they trail 53-45.
Terry Miller wants a shot out here.
3-pointer too hard off the iron. Nice rebound by Miller, puts it up too hard. Tipped up by Coleman. Gates gets it back, forces it up to Van Williams. He's underneath, going to be called, I think, 3 seconds. 3 seconds, says the referee.
Outstanding athletic ability there by the Big Reds to just keep that thing alive in there.
Again, Van had it, pumped his head up a couple of times, but got called on the 3-second violation.
Troy Snyder's played the whole ball game here tonight for Coach Hanton. He must be getting a little bit tired out there. Watch for Cates to put some pressure on him.
Well, he's making up for the last game when we only played 2 minutes. Nice pass inside, Snyder to Dawson. The biggest lead of the game by the Huskies, they lead by 10.
Troy Schneider is probably Rob Dawson's best friend because all his points have come off of assists tonight from Troy driving to the basket.
Miller answers for the Big Reds to cut it down to 8. Gates on a near steal, Snyder picks it up. Nice pump move by right hand to go Powell, in and out, right for the rebound. It goes to the Big Reds. The Keith trying to create every opportunity they can.
Both teams have scored 8 points here in the fourth quarter, Randy, but 6 of the Huskies' points have come from the foul line. So, as we said at the end of the third quarter, fouls could play a factor, and they have. Watch for Schneider to drive and penetrate here and try to kick it off down low.
Andre goes up, fouled by Coleman. And that's a 2-shot foul. Andre Paul to the line.
Andre Powell had a huge game last time. I believe he had 22 or 24 points. Tonight he's been relatively quiet. 8 points is all he's got tonight.
Well, Andre misses the first. Second was a big one. That one's short. But there's box right.
Boy.
Nobody boxed him out underneath.
Came from the backside. His man didn't stay with him, and he stepped right in and put it back up for 2.
Big basket by Northern. And Jim Early, a good timeout, I think, called by the Poyer High head coach.
I believe that's their third one, Randy, so they're left with only 1 timeout left. And I believe the Huskies have called 2, so.
Our score with 3, 5, 6 left in the ball game. Northern 57, Poyer High 47.
Randy, I don't know if the people can hear us right now, but both these high school bands do a fantastic job. What an atmosphere to come to. The pep band for the Big Reds is playing. Student bodies up and cheering. The cheerleaders are cheering. High school basketball is a great sport.
Well, again, it's nice to have this big of a crowd, again, on a Tuesday night especially. And again, both hockey teams playing down in Flint. I'm sure a lot of fans are down there. But you really couldn't fit any more people into this gymnasium tonight. They were turning people away at the last minute. And it's just a credit to the Port Huron area for the support we're giving both these teams throughout the year. Again, district action will begin Monday night, March the 9th. Port Huron High, Port Huron Northern, the co-favorites along with L'Anse Creuse North will bring you all the action on Channel 6, CPHS. The winner of the districts just head north down to the Husky Gymnasium. And again, hopefully one of these 2 teams out here tonight will make the regionals at Port Huron Northern.
Boy, regardless what happens, Randy, it's kind of nice for the people of the Port Huron community. They can come here and watch some fantastic district action, and then not very many sites get to host a regional contest. Both these schools' athletic directors do a great job, and that's why they get an opportunity to host some of those state events. They are always well organized.
Keith can't get it to go fight for the rebound off of Coleman. Port Huron Northern in control here, up by 10. Port Huron High has to employ full court man-to-man pressure.
Troy Schneider does a good job protecting the ball. Keith Cates, they made a switch. They've gone to Tony Miller guarding.
Nice hustle there by Chris Hall of Northern. Bodies flying all over.
Interesting, Keith Cates is not in, he is in lineup. I'm sorry, I didn't see him out there. They had made a change. I don't know what the idea, there it is right there, probably for the steal.
Andre Powell's pocket, lays it up too hard. Miller gets the rebound, shot up and good. Nice play on the follow-up by Tony Miller.
That may be the idea. Troy Schneider's a very good ball handler. They may be going to try to trap somebody else when they handle the ball.
Well, there's no doubt High wants to keep it out of Troy's hand, and if you're Coach Hinton, you want it in the sophomore point guard's hands. Like right now. .2:30 to go in the ball game. 57-49, Port Huron Northern from Port Huron High School. Hall shots up a little bit too hard, gets his own rebound though. Out of bounds, however, to the Big Reds.
I don't know if Coach Hanton wanted him to take that particular shot. He did a nice job on the drive, but when he didn't have the true layup, he probably should have kicked it back out and waited for something better.
And I tell you, you can look on the face of some of these players, definitely the fatigue factor starting to set in, but both teams, with only 2 minutes to go in the ball game, you got to gut it out. Miller for three. Oh, boy. Terry Miller, and that'll get him back in a hurry. The lead cut to 5.
You know, sometimes when you let the air out of the ball on the offensive end, works against you. You get out of your rhythm a little bit. So watch for the Huskies to try to take it inside and maybe get an easy basket here.
Under 2 minutes to go, Northern spread the floor. Bobby takes it up strong, short, tipped up Dawson, no good. Rebound. Rebound Coleman, but he's called on a travel. Big call there against Corcoran High.
Sure was. They called traveling. He was trying to get the longer outlet pass, and he may have dragged his foot.
Coach Jim Early calls, I believe, his final timeout in the second half. 57-52. Don't turn that dial. A lot of time left, 1:36 to go.
Well, Randy, I'm not sure. Watch for the Big Reds to try a zone press full court, and then they're going to have to match up man-to-man. The reason they may go to a zone, it'll disguise who's open and who's not out there. May be able to get a quick steal out of it.
Well, again, both these schools hockey teams in action tonight down at the Flint IMA. If you're not doing anything Thursday, March the 5th, travel on down an hour or so to Flint and watch probably Portland High and Northern take each other on for the third and final time in hockey action from the Flint IMA Arena.
In earlier action tonight, the Port Huron Northern JV squad held on. Kind of an exciting finish, Randy, to the end of that ballgame. We were here to see that. The Big Reds hit 2 3-pointers with about 20 seconds left to go to cut the lead to 5, but they weren't able to get any closer. I believe they lost 65-60.
Powell can't get it to go. Dawson, no, Johnny on the spot. Big basket by Northern, Rob Dawson.
Interesting, Northern stays with the full court pressure, trying to take some time off the clock.
They've got to set a pick. He's going to try the three-pointer, launches it all net to Terry. They've got to do it on the defensive end now. Terry Miller wants the ball every time now. There's no doubt about it. The senior captain of the Big Reds.
That's funny. I was just listening to Billy Packer in Channel 2. He says, the hardest thing to do is dribble down and try to get a three-pointer in transition. It's easier to come off a screen and set up for it. Don't tell that to Terry Miller.
Chris Hall couldn't inbound it, so he called a well-timed out as they almost got to 5 seconds. And just when you think High's out of it, they come back. The key, though, is Warrior and High's got to set up some three-pointers, and Northern's get the buddies underneath. So they've got to come up big defensively if you're a Warrior and High fan.
Once again, full court pressure here. The Huskies are having trouble getting the ball inbounds. That's why they call their timeout. We'll see what happens. My prediction is another zone press.
Well, we'll just pause for a moment, let the band and the crowd take over. A fine tribute here tonight to both schools. Well, with 1:14 to go, 59-55, the visiting Huskies lead. Chris Hall the inbound against Paul Harrington. Running picks all over him and gets it inbounds to Bobby Wright against Terry Miller.
Good play by the Huskies. It looked like Bobby Wright was going to go deep. Instead, he came up and everybody else went deep, and they got him the entry pass.
I think pretty soon you're going to have to see Portland High try to foul.
Yeah, and they do. They foul Chris Hall. Chris Hall, I believe, is one of the better free throw shooters.
Unfortunately, David, I think the foul's going to be on Harrington, and if it is, it's his 5th, and he's fouled out of the ball game.
I'll take that back. Chris Hall's a 45% free throw shooter on the year.
I'm assuming Van Williams is going to check in for Paul Harrington, who did a fine job tonight in a starting role on the offensive and defensive end, the 6'4" junior forward. As the Big Red fans give Paul Harrington a well-deserved round of applause.
Played a nice ball game tonight. He only had 4 points, but he did a lot of rebounding, some good defensive play inside. And you know what? I don't think Coach Early minds him using his 5 fouls.
Paul can't get it to go. Big rebound by Miller. They got to quickly get it up court. 50 seconds to go. 4-point lead by the Huskies. Miller shots up. Too hard. Nobody underneath the boards except Northern's Andre Powell. And Terry has to foul him with 37 ticks left on the clock. Now that would have been a big bucket and Miller could have got it. Unfortunately, it was too hard. And nobody underneath for the Big Reds.
I was a little surprised there, Randy. It looked like the Big Reds were looking for a 3-point shot. Brian Coleman came out, set the screen for Terry Miller. They really didn't need a 3-pointer there. They needed 2 possessions regardless. I'm surprised they didn't try to go into Brian Coleman for the easy 2 and possibly a foul.
Well, again, I think Northern's looking for that 3-pointer, so they might be able to dish it off. Again, we still got 37 seconds. Big free throw there by Powell, but this one's even bigger because of well, if Andre makes this, they'll only lead by 6, so again, they'd have to hit 2 3-pointers. This way, it's just a 3 and a 2. Powell, all ice in Andre Powell's veins. Now you got to look for the 3-pointer. And if you're Northern, you can stop the action by fouling. They've got 3 fouls to give.
Yeah, that would be a wise play right now on Northern's part.
Nice dish pass, but Coleman can't get it to go. That may do it. As Van Williams fouls Troy Snyder. Again, I don't think the Husky players realize that they've got many fouls to give that could stop the clock. But with 22 seconds to go, the fans, the Portland High faithful, start to file out as Northern has a 6-point advantage.
Well, for the Huskies, it looks like they're going to stay alive in the hunt for the MAC Red Division title. I'm sure Coach Hand will want to get on the phone right away and find out how Chippewa Valley played tonight against Sterling Heights.
Snyder hits the first. Northern by 7. It's going to take 3 possessions now with only 22 seconds left in the ball game. Snyder can't get that one to go. Van Williams quickly up court to Terry Miller.
21 points again for Brian Coleman tonight.
That's up and good by Miller. 8 seconds to go. Northern is going to do it. They lead by 5. And Fort Erie Northern is going to gain a split in the crosstown rivalry this year. On February 1st, Fort Erie High at Northern High victorious 68-63. Tonight, Fort Erie Northern going to come away victorious.
Terry Miller with 20 points tonight, Randy. Brian Coleman 21 for the Port Huron High Big Reds. For Northern, let's see, Bobby Wright was 20 points so far in the evening with that foul shot. Andre Powell, 10 points. Wait, they're the only 2 in double. Oh, Rob Dawson also with 10 points.
Bobby gets 1 or 2. Again, a fine ball game play by both teams with 3 seconds to go to let Miller go all the way. He jams it at the buzzer. The basket will count. But Northern comes away with a 4-point victory. The final score tonight, Northern 63, Fort Erie High 59. Just a well-played ball game. David, your final comments of tonight's game.
Well, like you said, Randy, a very well-played ball game on both teams' parts. Amazing what the intercity rivalry does. They both come out, play hard-nosed basketball, fight to the finish. If we're fortunate, we're going to try to grab Coach Dan Hand and Coach Jim Early and get final comments on them down on the floor.
Again, we'd like to thank our producer tonight, Larry Manns, our director, Rich Dick, on camera, Dandy Shannon, Alicia Forrest, and Christian Rightus. For Dave Mino, this is Randy Fernandez. Have a pleasant good evening. Stay tuned for post-game interviews.
Hey, good job.
Another one next week. Yeah.
had some drinks, a few joints, and got into a fatal accident tonight. Only he doesn't know it yet. Drugs make you forget. And if you forget how risky sex can be, you could catch the AIDS virus and not know it for months, even years. AIDS, another way drugs can kill.
This is Dave Mino, post-game with Coach Dan Hanton of the victorious Port Huron Northern Huskies. Coach Hanton, what were some keys to tonight's victory?
A better second half. We shut Coleman off in the fourth quarter, and we made some free throws.
And I had you unofficially in the fourth quarter, 10 out of 15. The kids stepped up and did a very nice job for you.
They kept their composure. They came to meet the ball, and we told them they're going to go with foul line. They have to make them.
Prior to the interview, we talked. I'm sure you and the fans and the players would like to know what the outcome of the Sterling Heights Chippewa Valley game was. You said before the game that you felt Chippewa Valley had a chance. You might find out in a few minutes that you could share the title with a victory on Friday.
Yeah, if we can win on Friday, and we're always aiming for that anyway. And if Chippewa Valley was successful, that would be great for us.
Okay, Coach. After tonight, you have one more MAC Red Division game. Then you come right back here, possibly as early as Monday night, I believe, next week. Who would you like to see to start the district tournament off with?
Well, we got to play everybody, and I guess you could say you could play PH, but we're playing them again here, and I know they love playing in their gym. L'Anse Creuse North is pretty tough. I guess I couldn't really pick one. You're going to play Port Huron High School no matter what, and maybe you could play them first and see if you can get through with the next two. I guess it would be a toss-up.
Would you have a preference? Would you prefer to see Port Huron High early, or do you think they might get up for you if they saw you in the finals of the district?
I know they'd get up for us. They did last year, and we beat them by 2, and we were playing very well then. So probably early with them to have the final outcome, and then try and do our best if we win in the next 2 ball games.
Okay, and quickly, Coach, just to wrap up, why does it seem whenever you two teams get together, Port Huron High, they seem to extend their game to another level? What's the reason behind that?
I think they count this game as very important to them. We try and keep each game the same because it's a win or a loss for us. But when we play cross town, I think Port Huron High really looks at the Huskies to get a win for their side. And emotionally, it's quite an emotional ball game.
Okay, Coach, thank you for taking the time to get together with us tonight. Congratulations on your victory. Good luck Friday night, and good luck next week in the district tournament.
Thank you, David.
For CPHS Channel 6, this is Dave Mino for Randy Fernandez signing off. Until next time, thank you.